Hey everyone, and welcome to reading. Today we are going to be reading a new book called Starry Messenger. So we're going to start off with reading on Module 2, Lesson 3, and we're going to preview the front and back covers of the book while looking at all the illustrations or pictures that are in the book. We're not going to be reading the book just yet. We're just going to be looking at it. So you're going to want to click on the digital read aloud, which is right here. And when you click that, you're going to click the link and it'll pull up this book. And it's similar to what we've been looking at in the past. The only difference is that there's no table of contents for this book because it's not like a chapter book. It just goes through information. I want to say it's a shorter book, so there is no table of contents. So I'm going to click big pages. And then we're going to go through and we're going to look at different things that the book has to offer, pictures and stuff. So here's the cover of the book. What I want you to do is while you're looking at it, what do you notice and what do you wonder? 3 things that you notice and wonder. While you're doing that, based on the cover, title, and illustrations, pictures, do you think this book is fiction or nonfiction? So do you think that it's um, not real, like fake, or do you think that it's real? Do you think that it's informational? So let's take a look. Starry Messenger, Galileo Galilei, and he's got a telescope and he's looking out at the moon. Here's like inside the front cover, stars in the night sky. Page 2 and 3. Page 3 has the picture of the world, but it has a map bigger than the world, I guess you could say. Here's another picture, and it shows the world going around the sun. Here's Italy, where Galileo lived. And here's a picture of babies. Here's another picture as he's growing up. Here's another illustration of Italy. This one looks more like a map with pictures that illustrate places. Here's a picture of what looks to me like the moon and Galileo looking out at the moon. I'm wondering what he saw here. So I wonder what that was. Looks like people reading something, looking at something, a ball of some sort, maybe a planet. Somebody holding on to a giant ball or a planet. This one with 4 things orbiting it. Whoa, that looks like, what is that? A bird? A monster? What is that? Now we have a picture. Oh, I know that he was put in prison in his house. Maybe this is like him in his house. And then he was put on trial. This reminds me of what that might have looked like. There he's got the moon, but it's like a prison. Hmm. Whoa, is that a monster? A lot of things to wonder when looking through this. So the back page, it looks like the front cover, the front page, another starry night. So as you went through, I'm hoping that you were thinking about things you notice and wonder from looking at the illustrations. And then based on the cover, title, and illustrations, do you think this book is fiction or nonfiction? Should be similar to what we said yesterday about the other story, the shorter story that we read. And that brings us to, we're going to read or listen to The Starry Messenger by Peter Sis. So I'm going to have them read it by clicking on the play button for each page, because some of the text is kind of blurry and hard to read on there. But you're going to be able to say the words that you don't know, something that you notice, something surprising, and something you're wondering. Now, for each of these, you're going to be putting two things. So make sure that if you if you're struggling to put something, make sure that you go back to the story and listen again so you can put something. And then we'll go over some of the questions together and we'll finish it up as a group. If you are struggling with this or want to be part of our group, make sure you join our Zoom call so we can work on this together. All right, so starting with our front and page 1. So page 1 coming up. It's really page 2, but there you go.
For hundreds of years, most people thought the Earth was the center of the universe, and the Sun and the Moon and all the other planets revolved around it. They did not dare wonder if this was years, most people thought the Earth was the center of the universe, and the Sun and the Moon and all the other planets revolved around it. They did not dare wonder if this was true. They just followed tradition. One man looked at the sky and wondered, what if things are not as everybody believes them to be? Maybe the Earth and the other planets move around the Sun. He wrote down his observations, but he did not track them. He did not publish them for a long, long time. He knew he could not prove them, I'm sure. It would take someone else to do that. Nowadays, in the Western country where many great artists, writers, musicians, and scholars live, in the city of Giza, a little boy was born with stars in his eyes. The stars named him Galileo. Thrived and he grew. In many ways, he was like any other healthy child, but he was more curious than most, and stars were always on his mind. He studied mathematics and physics and turned out to be a very bright young man who entertained and amused people with his brilliant experiments and observations. Galileo was our star, the people would say. One day, Galileo heard about a new instrument for seeing things far, far away. He figured out how it worked and made one for himself. Then he turned it to the sky. He gazed through his telescope and wrote down everything he observed. Then he published his observations in a book which he called The Starry Messenger. Galileo was amazed by what he could see with his telescope. He read Galileo's book and they became inspired. He made maps of the heavens and dedicated the 4 newly discovered stars of Jupiter to his patron and ruler, the Grand Duke of Tuscany, Cosimo II. Galileo was famous. More and more people celebrated the stars, and they celebrated Galileo and his discoveries with statues and parades and spectacular events. And the celebrations became extravaganzas. But now the church began to learn. Galileo had become too popular. By upholding the idea that the Earth is not the center of the universe, he had gone against the Bible and everything the ancient philosophers had taught. He had gone against the church. Galileo's order to appear before the highest ruler of the land, the Pope. He was afraid. He knew that people had suffered terrible torture and punishment for not following tradition. It could happen to him. He was trying on the Pope's court, and everyone could see that the stars had left his eyes. Galileo was condemned to spend the rest of his life locked in his house under guard. But he still had stars on his mind, and no one could keep him from thinking about the wonders of the skies and the mysteries of the universe. And even when he went blind, no one could keep him from passing his ideas along to others until the day he died. But still, the ideas lived on. Finally, more than 300 years later, the leaders of the very church that had punished Galileo Galilei pardoned him, and they admitted that he was probably, in fact, surely and absolutely right.
So that brings us to the end of the book, but that also says to us that there's a lot of that story that we read already, and a lot of that story that we understand. So now we're going to go in and look at some of the words that you don't know from the book. So hopefully you wrote 2 words that you didn't know. If not, go back to the book and find 2 words. What did you notice from the story? What was surprising from the story? And what were you wondering when you were hearing the story? According to page 3, what did people think was at the center of the universe for hundreds of years? So hopefully you understand that people believed that the earth was the center of the universe. Now, we know because of science that the earth is actually not the center of the universe. And we even know that the earth is going around the sun. So the earth goes around the sun along with all the other planets in our solar system. Now, what we also know is that our sun is not the center of the universe. It's just the center of our solar system. And the sun is actually moving around something even larger in the universe. So is there a center to the universe? We think there is, but we can't see it because we don't have telescopes that'll reach far enough to see what's out there. But what we do know is that our sun is moving in the universe just like the earth is moving around the sun. And there is and will be bigger planets and bigger stars out there than Earth and even bigger than our sun. So pretty cool and wild. Just tells you how small we are. According to the page 3, why didn't people ask questions about the Earth and universe? So why didn't the people ask those questions? So why were they accepting of it being the way it was? So we go to page 3. And page 3 says, for hundreds of years, most people thought the earth was the center of the universe, and the sun and the moon and all the other planets revolved around the earth. They did not doubt or wonder if this was true. They just followed tradition. So what this is saying is, why didn't they ask questions? They trusted tradition. They never wondered. So, like, could you imagine, like, never wondering? So they were taught not to wonder. They were taught what was believed to be true, and they were told that they weren't allowed to think or wonder. So when Galileo started to think and wonder, and he started to spread the ideas of thinking and wondering, What did they do? They put him on trial and put him in jail in his house and told him he's not allowed to teach anymore. What was the name of the book Galileo published? The Starry Messenger. Pause it if you need those notes. And in the chart below, write one fact, one definition, and one detail about Galileo or his inventions. So let's talk about the telescope. That's going to be our focus word. What's a fact about the telescope? Hopefully you're thinking something like the telescope can see far away. What's a definition of the telescope? What does telescope even mean? We read this yesterday. It means far looker. And what's a detail about the telescope? Maybe you saw it in the book. It's a long tube with two lenses. Maybe you could even say that it's on a stand, because in the picture we saw that it was on a stand. And that is it for our ELA lesson today. We have a fact, we have a definition and a detail, and we've read The Starry Messenger. So with that, you're done with your ELA. Make sure you do your grammar and your spelling. And if you have any questions, see me on Go Guardian and join our Zoom if you're missing out and you need some extra help. Palm it.